Action!
All
I'm so excited.
All right, episode 40. Holy crap. And we have our first returning guest, Anita Robbins. Thank you for coming on, Anita.
Thank you.
So we're going into Memorial Day weekend. What are you doing for the holiday?
We are driving to Virginia. It's typically a quiet weekend for real estate, so we're driving to Virginia to see our family and grandkids and hang out there for a little bit.
Totally. All right. So this is not me making this statement coming from me, but I want your reaction to this. So real estate is easy. Anybody can do it. And realtors, just door openers. And why should we pay such a high commission? If somebody said that to you, what does that make you think about? What's the reality of the situation?
There's a lot. Just as you were reciting that whole thing that you just said, in that short amount of time, so many emotions because it's not easy. I don't think we're overpaid. I think we work for it. I think a lot of people assume that we just open doors and then get paid. No one really knows everything that goes on both sides of the transaction, start to finish, plus everybody that's involved. They just don't know. I have clients that will say, oh my gosh, I love this. Maybe I'll be your assistant. Maybe I'll help you. I think I'm going to get into real estate. Mid-transaction, they're like, F this. I don't know how you do it.
What do you really do over the course of a transaction? Like, take me through a selling transaction, because you're not just dealing with the seller at a certain point. You're dealing with another agent. You're dealing with the people on the other side. You're dealing with unknowns that come up. Like, so explain like how that goes.
Well, that could be one whole episode. So on the list side, first of all, it's securing the listing, making sure that you and the seller are on the same page as far as what their expectations are from me, what my expectations are from them, getting the house ready, establishing a timeline, letting them know what we're doing as far as how we're going to market, how we're going to communicate, how we're going to show their house, how we're going to open house for them, how we're going to collect feedback, how we're going to negotiate, how we're going to get them to the settlement table. And that is without obstacles every step of the way. When obstacles happen, you kick in high gear and hopefully you have contacts that you can quickly fix something that comes up, but you really have to stay on top of it. It's not just listing a house and waiting for it to sell. With that being said, listings are a little bit easier than buyers.
How so?
Well, because on the real estate side, being an agent, if you secure a listing, you are sitting there waiting for people to show your house, you're marketing the house, you're communicating with people. If you have a buyer and they are looking for a house, you need to establish the criteria, establish the financials, and hone in on where they want to be, and then be able to secure a property for them. At this point in time, there's multiple offers. So with a buy side, how are you going to make your client shine? Which is very, very important. And I said it before, it's a skilled-based market. You cannot wing it in this market.
No, but you see a lot of agents doing that. I mean, you get some agents that are just like, okay, I've ran into somebody that's willing to let me list their house. What do you think somebody is potentially missing from an agent who's not full-time, and the value of having an agent who's all in on it?
Okay. It's hard for part-time agents, I'm not going to lie, because if you have another job and you are trying to show a house that just goes on the market Friday morning, how are you going to get your client in there? Your client needs to be in there if a house is going on the market Friday morning, or you need to figure out and have relationships to get somebody to show it for you. Well, then why wouldn't that buyer just go with the full-time agent that makes themselves available? And that's actually a good point, because I could have a full schedule, but if something comes on the market and my buyer and I agree to go look at it, I will shift what I have to do to get in that house.
Yeah.
And at this point, I can do that because getting in a house for my buyer is more important than a dentist appointment. I can reschedule the dentist appointment. I might not have the opportunity to see that house again.
And that would essentially, I mean, in all reality, I mean, if an agent's hiring, if a buyer is hiring an agent, they're hiring them to walk them through the process. And if you're not there when you need, or if you're not there when they need you, then, are you really servicing that client to, the best of your abilities?
Yeah, and not to knock anybody that's trying to get in the business or do it part-time till they can afford to do it full-time. My answer there would be team up with somebody that has the availability until you are able to be there for your clients. Team up with somebody that can pick up the slack.
Yeah. And I didn't actually mean like those agents that are like working to grow their business. I mean the ones that just have their license and just pick up listings here and there, and it's not really like where their head's at.
Yep. And that I think sellers are pretty educated on that. They want someone that's going to market the house and be there for them every step of the way, no matter what time it is, no matter what's going on, no matter if it's Memorial Day, if you're in Italy, you need to be available.
What's changed with Anita Robbins in 2025 versus 2024?
2024 was a stellar year. It was amazing. Probably a little chaotic. This year, I learned a lot. I'm an LLC. I hired people to do stuff for me that is not serving my time well. And I'm focusing on, more than anything, I'm working smarter. I'm going bigger. I am working on some things that I'm going to be speaking in front of large groups of people and show them how to buy a house or show them how to invest.
Cool.
Or show them how they can work with the equity in their house.
For those speaking things you said you have coming up, is that something you pursued or just through, your hard work, those opportunities came about?
It kind of popped into my head, and this is how things happen. So it popped into my head. I have some excellent clients that I know that I am top of mind. They will go to bat for me no matter what. Some of them own businesses, and some of them just know a tremendous amount of people. So I just thought about it. If I already have their endorsement, how can I get in front of some of their people and show them how to buy a house or show them how to buy an investment property? And it just morphed into this presentation that I'm super proud of, and we're going to kick off, and I'm really, really proud of it. Other situations are teachers and doctors. Doctors get different financing. Some of them are just moving around. I just sold a house to a doctor, and they get great financing. It is just, where can I be the most present, get the biggest bang for my buck, and reach the greatest amount of people?
Kind of watching you, because we work a lot together. Having watched you, correct me if I'm wrong, are you at a place in life and your career where you want to share things you've learned now? Is that, you seem like you're, like when I watched you speak at the KW Media, you're actually really good at it.
Thank you.
And I think people, like, you kind of go in there without fear, and it was interesting to watch because you had everybody's attention. And that's not, you don't see that, everybody drawing that in.
What has been the best experience? I didn't have a great mentorship when I started, not for anything. The business was different. I had a great career. Coming to KW, the mentoring is amazing. They encourage us to share our knowledge. So they asked me to do How I Grew. Well, that was hard for me to put together, but I stretched my brain and I did it. And I will tell you, I spoke from my heart, so it wasn't hard. It wasn't work. It was just me telling my story. And in addition to telling people how I grew, it was also about my mindset, how a lot of things in my life could have held me back, And I get jammed up, don't get me wrong, but a lot of things could have just knocked me out and kind of surrendered. It didn't do it. It gave me motivation. It still gives me motivation. So as far as that, what you're saying, speaking, I love it. I love it. I like to talk about mindset. I like to talk about growth. I like to talk about, my favorite thing is huddling with a bunch of women or a bunch of people and just seeing how people interpret things or what they get out of a certain speaker. And we just go crazy on huddling and talking about how we can grow. And it's been so inspiring and enlightening. And I do work with some young agents, and some of them are really going to be great. Some of them expect what do I need to do? What's the shortcut? There is no shortcut whatsoever. None. You got to put your time in. And that's how you become confident.
Has your own growth kind of fueled this a little bit?
Wow. Of course. 1,000%. Because, I went from 4 million at my other broker, just kind of taking business as it came, to going to KW, putting my head down. First year there, 12 million. And I'm a solo agent, right? I'm just learning the new business, learning how people are really working. And then last year I did 24 million by myself. Yes, it's about growth and confidence, but still reinventing myself. I want to keep learning. I'm going to be 65 this year. I'm not done. You know what I mean? I'm not done. If I'm shifting my business to other ways to generate residual income and do other things to grow, I'm doing it because I'm not ready to get out. It's too easy for me. It comes easily. When it becomes hard, I may consider slowing down.
Talk briefly about your mindset that you had when you made the move. Like, where were you at mentally before you made the move? Because it's not just the name switch, it's the environment, right?
Oh, it's fear.
So where were you at?
I was stagnating, and I saw a lot of heavy hitter agents leaving, and I was not a heavy hitter agent. I was mid-range agent, never really worked my sphere. And when I came over to KW, I said, I'm going to give it a year. My girlfriend said that, look, if it doesn't work, you can retire. And I had that mindset. If I don't take off or if I don't like it, I'm going to retire. Well, I knew people, but not a lot of people, but I wanted to give it my best shot. I put my head down and I worked and I got back to basics. Things that I ignored for 24 years, I got back to basics, started calling people, started showing up, started doing things. And I literally was shocked that I did 12 million by myself. Then I hired people to do my paperwork, to do my social media, and someone to do just some mailers and stuff like that. But then when I realized how easy it was, not without putting the time in, but it's the same thing, different client, same thing, different client. How I'm growing is listening more, handing off the stuff that I'm not good at, and really focusing on what I am good at. And then last year, 24 million. I mean, how can you walk away from that? I mean, you can't.
I see a lot of agents. We work with them that some of them, it seems like once a year they switch brokerages and think that that's going to be the magic bullet. What was your actual course of action when you made that move? Now you talked about getting back to basics. Was it like before you made the move where you were, was that where, you were kind of just in this place where you weren't doing all the things you're doing now, and then it was just being around other people and just, better environment? Is that would change? Because it's like, I feel like people change offices and think the brokerage is going to be the difference, but they don't change anything about how they're operating.
Mm-mm. And oftentimes people leave thinking that someone's going to give them leads. I never expected that. When I wasn't working my sphere of influence and all of the people that I've met over the last 24 years, when I came to KW, I was taught how to whittle down my people that ABCD basically, but I didn't really know how to do that. So I just went back to my last 5 years of sales and started with that. And then I started eliminating people that I knew I'd never sell a house to or didn't want to be in that area. A lot of my database was from farming places, from selling new construction. We would just farm different neighborhoods and stuff. I eliminated those. I got it down to a solid 600, and then I started working on 200. But I started focusing on diligently reaching out to them. I subscribed to HomeBot, which has given me $6 million worth of business. HomeBot owes me nothing. I started showing up, paying attention, following up with people that I haven't seen. And that was the beginning. That was the beginning of me saying, I have tons of money sitting right here in my database that I am not utilizing, and establishing those relationships again. And now that's my sphere of influence that has given me business. I would say close to 100% referral business.
What's the most Anita thing you do when showing a home?
I get very excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love this. I love this. But I have a great story. One time I took clients to see this house in Kennett, and it was the most amazing, fun, really cool, eclectic house. It wasn't for my clients, but I loved it. And I was walking around the whole house saying, oh my gosh, I love this. I love this. And I left a note, a big note on their kitchen island. And I said, I love your house. If you want to sell anything, please call me. He reached out to me. I ended up spending thousands of dollars buying stuff from this man. We ended up becoming, not friends, but acquaintances. But we had a great couple of months of communication. I have a kumquat tree. You brought that before. That was one of the best things that I could ever say about a house. It wasn't for my client, but I ended up having so many stories from this one house. But I get very excited, very, very excited.
I can see that.
I do.
Do your clients ever worry that you might put an offer in before them?
I would let them know. I mean, I always kind of exhaust their opportunity first if they 100% do not want it. But if it's something that I think makes sense for me to purchase, I will let them know.
Fair enough. What's something your clients would be surprised to learn about you?
Well, I'm kind of high maintenance, I think, but that I have chickens and I have a massive garden and so many things. I mean, so many things.
I believe it. All right. What's something weird or the weirdest thing you've ever seen in a house for sale?
Well, the typical stripper pole, I've seen that in
I
houses.
haven't run into that.
You
I've probably
haven't?
seen more homes than you.
You haven't?
Nope.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I've seen some odd things, but yeah.
Yeah.
Not that. The typical stripper, like this, people see this every day.
I think probably in my career I've seen 3.
If you ever do that again,
Take a
we
picture.
need that for social media.
Okay. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. I've been seeing some spectacular homes, though. Really, really, really cool, different houses. Yeah.
If you could build your dream listing from scratch, what crazy feature would you add just for fun?
Well, I was just at the Glass House. Jim Onesti has a listing in Gladwin, and it has it's a glass house. It's all glass. All 4 sides are glass, and it's so, so cool. Even the garage doors.
Really?
It's
wow.
awesome. You have to look it up. I forget the street, but it's awesome. He had a beautiful broker's open the other night. But there, so many things. So the pool was an infinity pool. Not a big pool, but infinity. But right in front of it, inside, was an indoor pool. And the kitchen, it wasn't a typical cooktop. It had this most amazing, I don't know if it was granite or quartz or what, but it was black with gold running through it. And right where you cook, the cooktop, it just had the fire, what do you call those things? The
fire pit?
Things that you cook on. Like
the burners?
The burners.
Yeah.
The burners were right in the granite.
Huh.
It was amazing. It was so amazing.
Now, is a place like that, is it up to today's par, or is it like dated? Like, how old is it?
Oh, it's brand new. It actually looks like it belongs in Malibu. There's a golf course. I think it's Philly, right across the street. But this is a brand new house. It's not even furnished yet. But man, it's probably one of the most spectacular houses I've been in. And just recently, I was in a house, Radnor Hunt, very popular house, beautiful bones. Mm-hmm. It needs a lot of work, and someone is going to bring that back to its glory. It's a pretty popular house, and they have houses all over the place, so it's not as well maintained.
Yeah.
But when you've been in the business this long, you can see what this house can be.
Yeah, I believe it. So in my years of shooting houses, and when we go on the main line a lot, sometimes how they have these monster houses and beautiful lots and things like that, but a lot of them are old. Like super old. You go to these houses and it's like at one point they were probably amazing, but now they're old, right? So when you see, let's say, how would you handle a listing with a client if let's say all their finishes, everything was like the best of the best of the best when they did it, but it's like 30, 40 years old, whatever. And it's well maintained, it's all in good condition. But that the next person in is going to hate all of this stuff. Mm-hmm. But then the difference, like a house, like the same house that was all up to date and new is maybe commanding like the top of the market price. How do you deal with that situation? Like to make them understand that if they're like stuck on it, like, hey, we spent all this money, we did this, but it's just old.
That is precisely what's going on right now. The one house that I'm referring to in Radnor Hunt, in its glory days, it was probably spectacular. It's not my listing. We put an offer in on it. The agent, she's an excellent agent. I think that she probably is struggling communicating with the seller because, every seller thinks their house is a Taj Mahal, let's face it, and they don't see how their house is dated. And my one girlfriend, who's exceptional, she says, oh my gosh, every 5-7 years your house is outdated. And she's right, because things change. That's how they keep things going. Things change. But when it's not a historic property, but a well-known property in a very well-known small niche area, these people think they're going to get it. They're going to get $8 million. They're going to get $6 million. And then when you have a client who has even better vision and can make it exceptional, he sees how much he's going to put into it. And so there's a divide between giving the asking price or saying, you know what, I have to put $3 million into it. I'll offer $4 million. Then emotions are involved. Yep. And then it's a standoff. But there's another house for sale that's also in Malvern that's $8 million, and it is totally done. Totally done. But some people don't want to pay that because even though it's totally done and totally current, it might not be your buyer client's taste. So even if you're buying something exceptional, there's always personal taste that comes into it. It's a fine line, especially in that price range. We say that someone who can spend $6-8 million, they can do whatever they want, and they're not going to make a lateral move. They're probably coming from an exceptional place. So it's either going to be a fun project for them, and they have all the money in the world to do it, and they want a project, or they're not going to do it because their house is already exceptional. So unless somebody gets a deal per se on that, not many people have the wherewithal to see that through and get it back to where it's supposed to be.
$1 million is not what it used to be. Ugh. Yep. At what price point do you say you're actually dealing with luxury in today's market?
Over 2.3, 2.5.
And at what price point?
Me personally, I mean, my clients
you're probably about right.
My clients are 9 to 1.3 all day long.
At what price point are you dealing with elite money and elite properties?
4.5 and up, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there are people out there, but they're busy. They don't, I mean, unless something just grabs their interest immediately, it's not a fast thing.
Yeah.
And some people don't have the wherewithal. If it's something that needs work, they're not willing to do it. Because that's a total life change. Think about it. If you are coming from a really cool house and you want to take on this project and it's a 2-year project, that's a significant life change.
Yeah.
Unless you're retired and you want to take on a project. I have people like that too, that find me a farmhouse, find me something that has good bones, but we can work with. Yeah. And there are not many properties. There's not many.
No.
In that high end, high acreage.
No, you see a couple of them pop
Yep.
up.
Couple
Yeah.
few.
You live in Malvern.
Yes.
Did you know Saquon Barkley bought a house in Malvern?
Yes.
Have you seen it?
Yes.
Is it close to you?
It's not far.
Is it awesome?
I was not in it. I saw it before.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't see it right before he bought it, but I know that house.
Seen the reel online with the aerial view. That thing is crazy.
Yeah, but there are a lot of houses just like that. Really,
That's good.
I mean that was probably 2.4. I think I forget exactly what it was.
That's it? Wow.
But honestly, isn't that crazy how we can say 2.4 and I have people in that price range that are just regular, not even middle-aged people.
But I've seen houses go for whatchamacallit. The record was just broken twice in the Westchester borough. The first one went, and it was the first one to break 2 million, and then the other one just broke to like low 2s, and those houses aren't even close to that level. I mean, it's like crazy how much like the prices can hop for what you get.
Well, picture this, Malvern. I mean, a $2.5 million house in Charlestown Township would be well over 3 in Willistown Township. Just the way it is.
Yeah.
Just the way it is. I live in Charlestown. We live in a really nice house, but if we were in Willistown, blown away.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It is bizarre how what $1 million used to buy you to what it buys you now.
I think we're going to hit $1 million for 2,000 square feet in the next few years. Or we're getting close to it.
Well, I just sold a house for just under $950, and I think it was maybe 2,600 square feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting damn close.
And not a huge lot. But listen, some people, that's the other thing. Some people might want zero maintenance. Some people might want the neighborhood. Some people might want the large community. Some people might want the 8-lot subdivision.
Yeah.
And seeking those out. In fact, my one client wanted to be in Bowtree, which has a ton of houses. We did put an offer on one. We lost it. And then they were kicking themselves, but we've ended up finding something. And that's always it. You always will find something that suits your needs. Yep. You can't get stuck on that house. But like we found something on the other side of Westchester, and they're super happy. They're runners. They can run through the borough. They're very, very happy.
That's
but,
awesome.
We had to put our thinking caps on, kind of like give a little concession, and then go from there. And then we found them something that they are so super happy.
So the value in a home isn't always just about the structure itself, right? It's the lifestyle, the area, all those type of things. Talk a little bit about that.
I just read something in Inman News, part of KW Luxury, and I get these great little articles, but this woman wrote this article about lifestyle buying. I mean, the billionaires, they're buying experience. And one of the things that they said, I mean, everybody loves Ritz-Carlton. If you have the opportunity to stay at Ritz-Carlton, it is just a totally different experience. So with that, billionaires are now not being as flashy. They are buying things under the radar, flying under the radar, buying like Fendi experience, Formula One experience, Ritz-Carlton experience, because they know if they purchase a Ritz-Carlton property, they already know what their standard of service is. So they are eliminating the noise, the hassle, the competition, and just going that way. So to your point, 1000% experience. Like this couple client, they wanted to be in Bowtree for all of the neighborhood. She comes from a area where there's a lot of big neighborhoods in Ohio. And this is not a big neighborhood where they purchased. But when they shifted gears and said, we can just run on these trails, we can walk to the borough, they thought, oh my gosh, these are things that they didn't think of. But after talking and being flexible, we found out that this was a much, 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 I don't want to say better, but just as good situation for them, for their young family. It's awesome to see how things kind of unfold when you get to know a client. And to me, that is the most important thing. I do have one thing to say. So I have a friend who is a doctor at Penn. I have not talked to this man since our kids were in Little League, right? But he's a Malvern, I'm a Malvern. And he hired a guy a new doctor that was coming from Pittsburgh. And so I talked to them on the phone, got them pre-qualified, really, really, really understood what they were looking for. We found a house. I met them on a Saturday afternoon, 5 houses to see. The last one, we put an offer in. I was on the phone with that lender till 11:20 p.m. on a Saturday night. We had the house by Sunday night in multiple offer situation. The buyer said to me, I'm really sorry, I'm not going to get to work with you longer, because we knocked it out of the park in less than 24 hours. And to me, they were so honest and upfront. They were willing to do the financial work up front. They were willing to be flexible between 2 different areas, and they pulled the trigger and we got it. It was the most incredible thing. They're moving in at the end of the month, and they settled. We gave a rent back, but it was so awesome to watch them go from perfect strangers within 4 weeks owning a home. It's amazing.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And guess what? They thought they would be in Malvern, but they realized that they wouldn't get as much for their money. They love the quaint little neighborhood in Havertown, and everyone is so happy.
Outside of the people in real estate, let's take that off the table. What's your favorite part about being a realtor?
My favorite part about being a realtor, I would say flexibility, but if you really want to be good and there for your clients, it's not really flexible because you're on all the time.
Right.
What my most favorite thing about real estate is that it's the same process, but it changes every client. So I can have a client in a new first-time home buyer, which I have, in the 300 range, and then I have people in the 5 million range. So what I love is where people are in their journey and me to just dig deeper. And I'm really, 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 I'm a stickler about doing the work up front so that when you put an offer in on a house, the emotion's out of it, right? The emotion's out of it. They already know what they're willing to go to, top dollar, and there are no surprises. On the listing side, talking to them about you are getting over asking. This is a very, very, very clean offer. Don't be piggish. Don't lose this. You have the opportunity to shut this down right now. You might lose them if you mess around. So saying those things and being very honest, and then they hear it in that light, you can't lose. You really can't lose. But I love how everything changes. It's all the same, but everything changes.
I keep getting older, but they stay the same age.
Oh my gosh. I'm so old. And that's a head game. Going into, I'm going to be 65 this year. That's a head game. Like, some of these younger agents are really, really sharp, and I love it. I get so motivated. Matt Talent, my weekly accountability partner, he walks the walk. We are going to be reading about Matt and Anna Talent in a few years. They walk the walk, and I am so happy to watch them be rock stars. I love it. But you know what? He calls me for advice too. So that makes me feel really happy. So wherever my career leads, like going bigger or leadership or mentoring or whatever, or still selling houses, I'm going to stay in it as long as it's fun. But man, whew.
I think you're having fun right now.
Oh, I have so much fun.
Like, I think right now in like your career, you just seem like you're having fun.
You know what? I have a great husband. I have a great family. And I mean, I'm not at everything. I miss dinners. I miss this. I miss that. Like we're driving to Virginia. Should have left this morning, but I'd rather do this. And it all works out in the end. And that's really it. And you just do the best you can every day. And that's really all it comes down to. But being there for your clients and knowing they're there, knowing you're there for them, they notice.
What would your kids say about their mom, the realtor?
What would my kids say about their mom, the realtor? Well, I have photos of my kids when they were young, taking them to houses, and my son had allergies, and we would walk in houses and he would say, this house has mold, or this house is dated, and stuff like that. So, I mean, they really did grow up in houses and seeing me work weekends and coming to my new construction sites. They were always in it. And my daughter's an agent now. So, yeah. And I wish my son would be, because he'd be a hell of an agent.
I believe it.
Yeah.
What about your colleagues? What would they say about Anita Robbins?
Well, I think I've grown and calmed down over the years. I mean, back in the day, I was crazy. I'm sure some of those agents would be, oh, she's crazy. But now I feel like I've really grasped the wholeness of just trying to be a well-rounded agent. And I will do anything to make an offer or a transaction work. Some agents are still a little angry and want to fight or complain. I don't even hear it. I tune it out. It's noise. It's not a bad market. It's what you put into it. It's challenging for buyers, but if you're prepared, you will win. And some of the agents, you still have to kind of like bite your tongue or state your case and stay true to yourself, really. You have to.
I don't see you stopping selling houses anytime soon, but I do see the leadership thing in you. You know, I could see you doing that because I'm not trying to blow smoke up your butt. You really are shining right now. Mm. Like you're just kind of like you're going like this. It's not like this or like this. You're still ascending. Yep.
And that's a good point, because ascending this year is a balance year. I welcome the business. I work hard at the business. I am really trying to keep that balance with family and keeping my head on straight and not ignoring myself, ignoring my family, not going to functions, not going on vacation because I have a client. I'm not doing that. I will be there for them, but balance for this year is
name of the game.
Yeah, and it's still working. So, I mean, I'm not losing anything. I'm not losing clients. I'm not losing business. It's been great. But I more than anything, I think at this point, with technology and stuff, a lot of people kind of slow down or get out of the business or start referring. I'm stretching my brain. I am trying to learn new things, take different classes, putting some slideshows together for classes that I'm teaching. And it's just been fun. I mean, it's just growing, always growing.
It's awesome to see. I don't, what I'm about to go into with you, I don't want you to treat it like, pretend this is like a live situation.
Okay.
Me and my wife are, I'm reaching out to you. Me and my wife are thinking about selling our house. And we haven't really talked to any other agents yet. But we see you all over the place, and we've heard you're great. Sell us on why we should go with you. What are you going to do for us?
Thank you for the opportunity. I want to let you know that I will do everything in my power to communicate with you as fully as I can together and hopefully cross the finish line. We need to be realistic, and I will help you get realistic with how the house needs to be, what buyers expect, what agents expect, and as long as we have all that up front and out in the open, we're going to be successful. And then I just lay out some of the things that we do.
Now, our biggest thing is like we need the most money possible. Like we need the top of the top.
Okay.
Can you help us get there?
Well, so why is that, first of all? Why do you need top dollar? And I will help you figure out how much equity you have in your house and to see how we can push the limits on pricing your house. And what are you willing to do to get your house show ready so that when people walk through the door, they are blown away and love the house and are ready to submit an offer.
So you're saying we might have to do some work, potentially. And do we have to, if we follow your plan, will that help us yield the most amount of money?
I would think so. But we would walk through the house together and you take notes. If you want, we can do a pre-list inspection. An inspector comes in and you walk and talk some of the things that might come up in inspections. The goal is to not have inspections. Buyers come in without inspections, not wanting inspections, multiple offer situations. But when we walk through the house, you're going to be walking through your house with the buyer's eye. And you're going to look at this house as if you're buying it again. What do you love about the house? What is it that's bugging you about the house? What obstacles can we eliminate before we even list the house? Because the goal is to get somebody in, because really in today's market, people are buying houses within 15 and 30 minutes. So we want to eliminate the most amount of obstacles and use that seller's disclosure to be as clean as possible so that when they leave your house, they're still excited about it, but when they read that seller's disclosure, they don't really see any issues. And then it's my job to get on the phone and get feedback from that agent, the good, the bad, the ugly, and bring it back to you. And if there are some things that we can correct, we will do. If we hear something 2 and 3 times, I would strongly encourage you to fix that obstacle.
Okay. We don't want any hiccups. We want this to be as smooth.
I don't either.
We want it to be as smooth as possible. We don't want to deal with any issues. Are you able to help that?
Yes.
Make that
That's
happen?
my job. That's actually why you're paying me. But as long as we communicate up front, my job is to get to know the house almost as well as you do. So when people are calling me, I am handling those questions without having to talk to you. Now, there might be times when I have to call you and say, look, I think I missed this or we missed this. How can we handle this obstacle together? So the goal is some things we might not know until showings start happening. But my job is to get on the phone with every single person, dig deep dive with feedback and ask them what we need to do to get them to write an offer. And then I bring it to you, we discuss, and then we take it from there. But as long as you know, so if you say you want to list your house for $800,000 and you have $500,000 equity in your house, and hopefully you can walk away with $230,000, what do we need to do to make sure that you get as close to that as possible? It's fixing things. It's being prepared to credit people for stuff or just eliminate the obstacle. That's really all it comes down to. But if we know those numbers up front, and then if 800 is not the number, I will show you what you will net at 775. And I keep doing that. Flip side on submitting an offer, if they're going in at 500 and we escalate up to 525, I have the lender go up to 550 so that they can see worst case scenario if they're still willing to go a little bit higher than what we escalated to. So as long as you see those numbers up front, it's easier to digest when it's fast and furious.
When we sold our last house, we worked with an agent who wasn't the most responsive. We felt like we were in the dark a lot. Can we count on you to be reliable and there for us throughout the whole process?
That's one of the things I pride myself on, communication. And I will tell you, even if nothing is happening every night, I will text you or call you and say, nothing's happening. Let's pick it back up tomorrow. Because I'm in it. I want to sell the house as much as you do. That's hopefully you'll refer me. I get paid, you get paid, and then we move on. So I pride myself on that. And I will say it again, this is a skilled-based market. You can't have someone that's just going to take the listing and wait for someone to send you an offer. I need to do everything in my power to get those people to write offers, create urgency. I had one the other day. She's like, do you have any offers? I said, not yet. But I said, if you get your offer in, she told me she was writing an offer. I said, if you get it in, we'll negotiate it if nothing else comes in. I said, I'm not playing those games of this, that, or the other thing, a deadline. If it gets crazy and more offers come in, I will let you know. I promise you, I will let you know. So it's being respectful to the agents because you don't want to burn any bridges, but it's also letting the seller know. So the example is that person did write an offer, but two other offers came in while she was writing the offer. So I said to her, I have an offer, another one's coming. Where are you in this situation? And she said, waiting on signatures. So I was able to tell the seller, okay, the first offer isn't even here yet. The one that I said is coming. The one that I just sent you is not the one that I thought was coming. So let's just wait a little bit longer. But I was still explaining that offer to them so that they could know what the terms are on that offer. Then the second one came in, did the same thing. The third one came in, which was really the first offer that we talked about. And so in all, we had 3 offers, and then we picked the one that made sense. So it's communication. And then when the sellers made their decision, they felt confident. It's not like I just said, here's the offers, take a look and let me know. We deciphered the offers together.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's not always price. It could be terms.
I generally like what you've had to say. Like we like what you're saying, but I was talking to my neighbor who said they've sold a bunch of houses and they said all realtors are the same and just interview a bunch and go with the one that's going to says they're going to sell your house for the highest price. What makes you different from other realtors? Should we be interviewing other realtors? And close me.
That's honestly, I welcome the competition. I'm not afraid of competition. I feel like everybody has an at bat and may the best man win. Last year I did 31 transactions, 27 were listings. So I'm basically a lister. Do I find houses for buyers? Absolutely. I love buyers, but my numbers tell you that I am a lister. And is there anything that you don't see that you wish that you could see? I think the most important part is that you get the communication, you get that I'm there with you, you get every step of the way, you get that I want to sell the house as much as you do.
If we don't agree 100% on price, are you willing to go with my price?
For 2 weeks, maybe 10 days, because there are graphs and all different kinds of data that shows that the most amount of activity is the first 7 to 10 days. I will give you, as long as it's not outrageous, I will give you 7 to 10 days. Same thing. I will call the agents for feedback. If every single one of them is price, do you agree to reduce to my price?
I think that sounds fair.
Yeah, because the second part of that, Brian, is that if you had 13 people through the house the first 2 days, and you didn't get one offer and every single one of them said price, if you are cognizant of that and you reduce quickly, you still may capture one of those buyers. If you wait too long, a month, they may buy something else. They already know what's in your house. You try to capture them while they are still interested. So you do it quickly. That's why I would say 7 to 10 days.
Okay. If we were ready to go, and we said, we're going to list with you. How soon can we move forward? What are next steps?
Okay. So I could go home and prepare the listing contract, and then I'll text my photographer right now, and he'll give us a couple of dates. But if we have stuff that we need to do, let me come back and we'll do a priority list and we'll get you going. I have vendors, I have people that can help you clear out, take junk away, paint, landscape, anything that you need, organize, whatever you need, we have people. And then lastly, it's a decision over whether you're going to fully stage the house, need being, or virtually stage the house. We just have to make these decisions together. But if you're ready to go, 4 days, 5 days. But strategically, we want to do it where we list it as coming soon and then go into active so that you have a strong weekend.
So you're saying we should get the house. We should we should prioritize prep and planning before, and rather than just throwing it on the market.
No, I mean, unless you want to go. Some people do that. I'm not going to lie. Some people are just done and ready to go, and we still take the pictures, we still take the photos, we still give it a 100% commitment to sell the house. Basically, what you're doing is choosing to deal with those obstacles through the transaction.
I think I'm sold.
Yay, let's do it.
That's good. All right, that was great, actually.
Okay.
I could see sitting in a listing appointment with you.
Oh, it's fun.
All right, and then just the last thing, you got to send us off with a positive message to the world.
Man, it's all about kindness right now, but what I'm experiencing right now is a lot of manifestation. I have been digging deep on some, things that have been gnawing at me, and I am just manifesting, praying for things to happen. I'm going to tell you one quick story. So in 2005 or 6, my kids were in youth group, and we went to this kind of like Christian Woodstock in central Pennsylvania. There were like 8,000 people there, bunch of speakers, great Christian music. I was only there as a chaperone. This man was speaking, Bob Lentz, and I felt like he was speaking to me out of 8,000 people. And I was Catholic. And I manifested meeting him the next day, and I became a Christian. Fast forward, he has been so instrumental in our family. I love this man. He lives in Wisconsin. He preaches all over the world for youth. And I support him. We became very good friends. And so last week, he was on Facebook. And sometimes he'll say to me, I'm in Pittsburgh. Can we meet for dinner? He doesn't know the state. You know what I mean? Can we meet for dinner? I'm like, Bob, it doesn't work. But he posted something on Facebook, and I said, when are you in PA again? And he goes, I'm here in a place called Exton, ? I'm like, you're 10 minutes from me, come for dinner. And he did. And I haven't seen him in several years, but my daughter has a great relationship with him. She got to talk with him, pray with him. He actually mini baptized June with water from the kitchen sink, and we just prayed. That was amazing. But the fact that I was just thinking of him, saying I really need to talk to him, and he was at my house for dinner within the hour, manifest.
Crazy how.
Manifest and mindset. I can't stress it enough because, I'm living it. I am manifesting and making things happen.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Anita.
Thank you, Brian. You're amazing.